Elon Musk understands a truth about you that remains hidden to all others. Greetings to the chosen few. Recognizing that some battles aren't worth engaging in is the wisest choice you will ever make. Let's be candid. Trailblazers, you didn't simply walk away when you declined to join their petty games of deception, gossip, and fake power plays. You obliterated their entire scoreboard like it was nothing but scrap paper. Yet, the most challenging part is still ahead. Psychological research reveals that nothing wounds a person's ego more than being ignored by the very individual they try to control. These people aren't just bitter because of this. They feel utterly foolish. Think about it. You casually shrug, yawn, and say, "No thanks. I'm good." It's like stepping into a boxing ring only to find your opponent has gone home to binge-watch TV. They set traps, craft schemes, and rehearse villainous speeches like characters in a B-movie. Meanwhile, the audience laughs as they flail at empty air. This is when the heat turns up. You didn't just reject their games, you exposed them. Every one of their plots only underscored their desperation. Their lies highlighted their lack of honor. You, on the other hand, savor your peace like a fine vintage while they sulk, scratch their heads, and throw tantrums. This goes beyond mere departure. It's about what happened to them after you left. You rewired the entire dynamic. You rendered their game irrelevant without even trying to beat them at it. This kind of humiliation keeps many awake at night, wondering how they were outsmarted by someone who never even played. Brace yourself as we unveil 14 astonishing reasons why your refusal to engage left them exposed, embarrassed, and resentful, and why walking away was the greatest decision you ever made. They mistook your disinterest for weakness before realizing it was strength. Initially, they believed your silence meant fear, intimidation, or a lack of intellect. They assumed you couldn't handle their pressure and were quitting. But as the dust settled, it became clear you weren't afraid to dodge their battles. They weren't even worth your attention. You simply ignored them. And that realization hit harder than any direct confrontation ever could. Game players rely on your participation. They need your energy, reactions, defenses, and counterattacks to fuel their fires. By withholding that fuel, you revealed the fragility of their entire system. Their intricate plans suddenly seemed pointless. Each trap they laid was just a pitfall they themselves stared into. The real sting wasn't that you left. It was that you left unharmed, building a life apart from their chaos. While they obsessed over outsmarting you, you cultivated insight, calm, and resilience. They remained trapped in cycles of manipulation while your rejection made you stronger. That's when resentment took root. Most underestimate the power of indifference. It strips manipulators of their stage and denies them the validation they crave. Whether through conflict or victory, they're forced to face a harsh truth. You not only survived without them, you thrived. You never needed them as much as they needed you. That humiliation is unbearable. Their entire identity hinged on outsmarting you. From the start, they cast themselves as your covert rivals. Every move, every word, every plan was designed to prove they were smarter, sharper, and craftier. Their lives weren't about their own goals. They revolved around ensuring you never gained the upper hand. But when your refusal to engage left them without an opponent, their sense of self crumbled. Their existence became brittle, defined by a competition you never agreed to. They watched you quietly build your path while they wasted years shadow boxing with someone who wasn't even fighting. That's the essence of shame and why they can't let it go. Admitting your disinterest means admitting the futility of all their schemes. It would betray their entire self-image. You weren't outwitted. You simply chose not to play. You became a mirror reflecting the insignificance of their victories. They tried to be puppet masters, but without your involvement, they were just people pulling strings in an empty room. That desperation is what makes them feel so foolish. You revealed their true lack of wisdom. They believed manipulation was the height of intelligence, deceiving others, spinning stories, and sacrificing integrity to win. Cunning was their badge of honor. Honesty was weakness. But your refusal to play exposed their superficial cleverness. True intelligence is about growth, progress, and uplifting others, not tearing them down. Manipulation only leaves emptiness, distrust, and ruin. Their sense of superiority vanished as you stood stronger, happier, and freer. You saw through their gaslighting, resisted their guilt trips, and exposed the limits of their so-called intellect. When confronted with genuine insight, their facade crumbled. Manipulation is a fleeting illusion. Reality reveals their vulnerability and shame. They feel stupid because deep down they know they were never as smart as they thought. You forced them to face that they were only entertaining themselves, not winning. They believed every scheme, rumor, and tactic brought them closer to victory. Their lives centered on outplaying and outshining others. But your distance revealed the truth. Their scoreboard was imaginary. They gained no real influence, respect, or loyalty. Only self-congratulation in a circle of their own making. You didn't need their approval or praise. You didn't have to win their petty contests. Your independence exposed the hollowness of their world. They weren't confronted or defeated. You simply moved on. Their years of plotting vanished into thin air. The real pain is realizing it was all a wasted life, not just a lost game. You built something genuine and unshakable while they remained trapped in drama. That contrast is unbearable. They can't grasp that your peace outweighs their victories. They amassed titles, followers, and accolades to prove their dominance. But none of that can create what you already possess. An unshakable inner calm. Your authority is silent, internal, and absolute. Their noisy achievements suddenly seem fragile and conditional. They must face the truth that manipulation and accumulation don't equal true power. Mastery over oneself, clarity and serenity are the real sources of strength. That realization embarrasses them deeply. They worked hard for superficial success while you embody genuine impact effortlessly. That's why they feel so foolish. Without uttering a word, you turned their secrets against them. Every plot they hatched revealed more about their flaws than about you. They thought they controlled the narrative, but your integrity became an unbreakable mirror exposing their greed, fear, and dishonesty. You didn't need to fight or argue. Their own actions condemn them. Their attempts to trap you only highlighted their true nature. The more they schemed, the more their character defects were laid bare. Your honesty contrasted sharply with their deceit. This exposure is permanent and unforgettable. People remember when duplicity is unmasked by someone who refuses to play along. The fact that you didn't have to do anything dramatic to shine a light on their shadows is what frustrates them most. They left to face the consequences of their own behavior, humiliated by the very secrets they thought would empower them. You proved that manipulation requires a willing victim. They believed everyone could be controlled, including you. Every deception depended on your reaction, your defense, your care. But you removed yourself from the equation. Without a target to manipulate, their schemes lost all power. That realization drives them mad. Manipulation only works on those who seek approval or are emotionally vulnerable. You saw through it all and stayed calm. You didn't have to confront or fight. You simply refused to engage. That simple act shattered their illusion of control. Their years of planning became meaningless. They feel stupid because they overestimated their power and underestimated your awareness. You changed the rules without lifting a finger. They spent countless hours building illusions, barriers, and traps to control you. They thought they could predict your every move. But you weren't playing by their rules. You lived freely beyond their reach. Their efforts were wasted. Every wall they built and every scheme they crafted became irrelevant. You authored your own story while they clung to a narrative that no longer existed. Their entire game vanished because you refused to participate. Losing a battle is one thing. Watching the battlefield disappear beneath your feet is another. You didn't need to fight or counter. You simply wouldn't be trapped. That denial rewrote the terms of engagement. Their strategies became naive. Their attempts to corner you ridiculous. They spent so much time and energy on a fight you never cared about, and that's why they feel so foolish. You helped them see they chased shadows while you built substance. They obsessed over appearances, perception, and influence. Every move was designed to impress or intimidate, but all of that was fragile, surface level. You invested in depth, growth, and authenticity that couldn't be faked. Every challenge strengthened you in ways their manipulation never could. Approval and recognition weren't needed for your foundation. It was real and lasting. That contrast stings. They can mimic intelligence and authority, but you embody genuine power. Your calm strength makes their tactics look weak and pointless. They feel stupid because you created reality while they performed illusions. Your presence reveals that true power comes from within, not from external validation. Their obsession became irrational because of your detachment. The moment you stopped caring, their fixation intensified. They expected every action to provoke a response, to draw attention, to justify their efforts. But you disengaged. They clung to empty shadows while you transcended their drama. Their frantic attempts to provoke you only highlight their immaturity and desperation. Their passion, once hidden behind schemes, now appears wild and unreasonable. Your freedom becomes a mirror reflecting their foolishness. You don't have to confront them. You simply don't exist in their world. That lack of participation exposes their imbalance and makes them look utterly irrational. Their obsession punishes them while your detachment sets you free. They realized too late that your worth was never up for auction. They tried to buy your loyalty with favors, gifts, and influence. Every offer was a bribe to bend you to their will. But your value can't be traded or negotiated. By refusing to be bought, you shattered their delusions of power. Approval as a bribe means nothing when the recipient doesn't need it. Their tools of control were useless against your independence. That realization infuriates them most. They were chasing ghosts while thinking they held the reins. Their attempts to control you only exposed their ignorance and weakness. You never were a commodity, and their belief that you were is a wound that can't be healed by manipulation. They imitate you in secret but resent you openly. Your presence exposes the gaps in their own lives not because you seek to prove anything but because your autonomy and calmness highlight their insecurities. They secretly admire what you embody but publicly mock it as arrogance. Their attempts to copy your confidence come off as forced and fake. Authenticity flows naturally from you while imitation is a pale shadow. Every decision you make reminds them of their own shortcomings. Their public disparagement only reveals their jealousy. You become the standard they can't meet. The mirror reflecting their own false independence. This dynamic torments them, leaving them feeling vulnerable, unworthy, and profoundly foolish. Their social circles become echo chambers of insecurity because of you. Every rumor, every false story they spread about you only amplifies their own fears. They believe gossip grants power, but in reality, your refusal to engage elevates you above their reach. Their networks, once tools of control, become chambers where their resentment echoes endlessly. They recite grievances to prove themselves, but their words only confirm their failure. Your absence from their drama is deafening. Your calm progress speaks volumes without a word. Their futile attempts to influence the narrative only deepen their humiliation and highlight their helplessness. You showed that true success isn't about outplaying. It's about not playing at all. They viewed life as a competition where power comes from defeating others. Their identity depended on winning battles of manipulation and control. But by refusing to enter the ring, you dismantled their entire worldview. You prove that real power lies in walking away, in mastering oneself rather than others. You didn't have to respond, outwait, or prove anything. Your independence rendered their strategies meaningless. They can't comprehend how someone can succeed without competing. That realization is unbearable. Their entire system collapsed because you chose freedom over conflict. You didn't just leave. You rewrote the rules and exposed their delusions. Their efforts only highlighted their despair while enhancing your strength. You won by not playing. And that victory stings more than any defeat. The lessons are clear. Independence cannot be bought or forced. Manipulation requires consent. Pursuing someone who refuses to engage is futile. Your very presence revealed their flaws, insecurities, and the emptiness of their victories. You didn't win by defeating them. You won by refusing to be part of their game. You moved freely while they remained trapped in illusions. You are the force that made their game meaningless. That's why they feel vulnerable, resentful, and foolish. To those who refuse to join their chaos, you are untouchable. This is the power of the chosen. Walking away is not weakness. Indifference is not detachment. Not playing is mastery. If this message resonates, subscribe to the channel to continue embracing the strength of the chosen ones. What comes next is something you won't want to miss. If this touched you, hit the like button. Share your thoughts or experiences in the comments and share this message with anyone who needs to understand the true nature of power, independence, and the courage to quit the game. Together, we can change the narrative. May you be blessed and guided by unwavering strength.